What's going on, X community? Exo Stomp here, and today, people, we're back with the post-draft PRs, and this time joining me, you guys have heard him before on this channel when we did tag team. It is Solo.
Hello, how's it going?
So, this was definitely very annoying to set up, guys. So I would appreciate it. You guys left some love. Maybe put in a comment roasting this first team, which is Marshy's team. But yeah, that would be funny. But but I am really looking forward to seeing what you guys say about this. If you guys like this format, because I think everything is working, we could do the same format for next season. But no promises, alright? No promises. It took me forever. So let's get right into it here. So the first team on the list, ranked number 12, is, like I said, Marshy. So this team, honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world. I understand. I mean, look, I put it 12, so I didn't think it was the best team either. But I definitely think it has its merits. It could definitely, it has a lot of setup sweepers, which are really good, like Golurk, Stack Attacka, Galarian Moltres, Lion Noon. I mean, most of these are just setup sweepers. However, it's going to be hard to do because you're only going to have, like 4 turns for Aurora Veil? And on top of that, there are no hazard removers, which makes it a lot harder if hazards go up. You're going to need to be running heavy duty boots on 3 of your Pokemon, basically Moltres, Alolan, Ninetales, and Arctozolt, if you want them to actually do something. And with a Hail Core like that, you kind of want at least some removers, maybe just one, I don't know. But yeah, what do you think about this team?
Yeah, so normally you're right, not having removal would be a big problem, but I just feel like it's not really needed on this team, as crazy as that might sound. Because all the mons that want boots can run them. Like Icy Rock is banned, you can't use Veil and Light Type. So Ninetales always run boots, Archer always wants boots, and Moltres either wants boots or Weakness Policy. So I really feel like the problem on this team. Plus, Marshy could just set up hazards and force the other team to defog, though that is a problem they have Rapid Spin.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Hail and Trick Room, I think Marshy has like a lot of avenues to find a way to sweep. So that's why I ranked him higher than 9.
That's fair.
One thing to note though is there's not really a knockoff switching, and it's going to be hard to get the Arctozolt in like even the Ninetales in, because I think only the Moltres can pivot. So Marshy would either have to stack something to bring them in, or like do a double switch.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that.
Yeah, and if their boots get knocked off, then Marshy's in big trouble.
Yeah, and the thing is too, right? It's not really a Scald switch in here. I mean, I guess Alolan Ninetales can take one, but and I guess Moltres, but Moltres doesn't have proper, there's no big Scald switch-ins besides the Maractus. And I know a lot of people were pretty much saying Maractus is bad, but you know what? I kind of like it. All right, it's up there for like a low tier grass type because it can eat up those water hits free. It's not resisted. It has Water Absorb and Storm Drain. So if it wants to go offensive, it goes Storm Drain. Water Absorb, pretty good too. I think it fits on this team. But if that Maractus, because I think this is in the same tier, if that Maractus was Carnivine has Defog. And it has Levitate, which can help out that Stacka, that Emboar, even the Arctozolt. So I feel like Carnivine's a better pick here than Maractus. Even though Maractus does fit on this team a little bit, I still think Carnivine's a little bit better here.
Yeah, Carbine is 3 points, and yeah, you're right, they're both 3 points. But that's something more if you could switch for.
Yeah, and Carnivan's pretty fun. But anyways, let's go on to the 11th ranked team, which is the Cape Cod Comfies. So, if I remember, actually, do you want to talk about this team real quick?
Yeah. So the first like 5, 6 picks were really good. Like they all work really well together, but then it kind of just flops off hard. Like your Dragon Fairy Steel, they cannot take a knockoff because they all have that evil light. It's just I don't know. If those mons were better, I would rate this team a lot higher. But it's just dragging the team down.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. It looks like we all kind of agreed, besides Halu. But actually, you know what? Let me look at what Halu said real quick. But yeah, I think it's kind of tough, right? Because you got hazard setters, removers, clerics, pivot, everything, but even like the speed tiers aren't bad either. But if you're looking at the actual mons, it's yeah, you have 6 Pokemon here, maybe 7. A Venomoth is like half of a Pokemon, so I'll give it that. Ferroseed is not the worst Pokemon, but still not good here, because like you said, there's so many Violet mons. What takes a knockoff and is like, thank you for getting rid of this thing? I mean, I guess maybe no. Incineroar wants its boots.
No, it needs its boots. Maybe it depends on the set.
Yeah, so it is tough. Let me look. Okay, so Halu said very strong fire, water, grass that will end up walling and breaking a lot of teams. Great speed to couple it. Strong removal and decent hazards. Venomoth seems like a strong pick. However, I do appreciate the value of individual Fairy, Dragon, Steel mons. The core itself is very weak and is the reason it's so low on your list. Wait a minute, but it's 5th. Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean the fire water grass core definitely is the strongest part about this team, but yeah, like there's not much else to say besides that. I definitely think you can easily mix up, like, okay, I hate when people focus in on Fairy, Dragon, Steel core in low tier. You do not need a dragon type unless you need it to cover a certain type, for instance water. But this team doesn't need like a Skull Switcher. You got a Slowking. You got I mean, well, I get it was, yeah, Ferroseed, you know, it's there. So don't need Gabite here. You could probably trade out Gabite, maybe Togetic, because I really don't like that Pokemon either. Possibly Venomoth. I dropped it week 1, so I don't know how good it is. I don't know. It's okay, but you kind of need to run heavy duty boosts a lot of the time. But yeah, maybe trade out.
I was just gonna say you need like 3 calm lines for attack, or 3 quiver dances for attack to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's got tinted lens. All right, it's gonna do something. But yeah, I would say figure out Gabite and Togetic. Trade them out for something higher. A 9 Pokemon team is gonna be a lot better than a 6 Pokemon team, because right now that's what you got. So yeah, try to figure that out there. But if you do that, you find a good Pokemon that fits, maybe like a good Fairy type. Well, you kind of need a Ground type too, huh? Oh, probably Ground over Fairy, honestly, because Volt Switch spam is so annoying. But yeah, if you figure that out, you'll probably go around the middle of the pack, in my opinion.
Yeah. The only thing I want to add is that earlier you were saying how you don't really need Dragon type in the low tier, and how like the core doesn't really matter that much. The thing is though with this team, with its main like 5 or four or five mons. He's missing too many typings. If depending on what he brings, because he can only bring like the bite, and he's missing a seal and fairy type. So like he's the first four, the type is not going to work that much without better dealing dragon fairy types.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Another thing, I don't know. I mean, Pharaoh Seed's okay here. It can set up hazards, but you already have a grass type, so like maybe getting a better steel type too can be good. I don't know. There's a lot of things that can help this team. If you want a more detailed explanation, obviously we can hit us up in DMs or whatever. But yeah, we got to move on here to the 10th pick, 10th rank, which is the Brisbane Breloons. So, you put them 12th, and I actually would love to know why, because I'm very curious.
Yeah. Two words, gravity, and gravity.
Wait,
and actually, no, sorry. Gravity and Low Breaker.
Okay. Wait, that's three words. Hold on, wait.
I messed you up. I said the wrong order. Okay, yeah. Mold Breaker. What's taking that Mold Breaker earthquake? And don't say Gold because
damn,
terrible.
Got me.
And same thing, gravity means the same thing. That was my main comment. Like, if you face like a Pangoro or Sock or just any non-Mold Breaker earthquake, this team just falls apart.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. Palossand is such a defensive Pokemon. It can take hits and it can obviously heal itself up. Audino, if you're going defensive, can wish to itself constantly and just kind of waste turns.
Then he sets a sub.
Well, okay. Palossand's a little hard to set up a sub on, alright? Because, it's got some pretty decent special tech. Acelgor, man, you go defensive Acelgor, it could easily eat earthquakes. Come on.
No.
Also, guys, don't worry about the Galarian Mr. Mime Sprite. I was too lazy. Well, I wouldn't say too lazy, but I ran out of time here to get a Sprite, and I was like, this is fine. You guys know what Pokemon that is, so. Yeah, I don't know. I like, for instance, I really like. There's nothing on this team for the bottom four things that we have here: Hazard Remover, Hazard Setters, Clerics, and Pivot that stand out. I mean, Tempest has everything. What's going on there? What do you do? What?
Oh, never mind. It's Starmie.
That's not Starmie. All right, well.
I'm noticing. Everything else.
Sadly, they could see your pink outline, so they know what you're doing.
Yeah, they can be concentrating on that.
True. Well, okay, that's not Starmie, but yeah, I think, I mean, the thing that
the team looks good.
Yeah,
I'll say that. But if you like go deep into it, I feel like it just has too many holes.
Yeah, I mean it has its flaws. I feel like every team has its flaws, but I personally like the Tyrantrum Galarian Weezing. As you know from season 6, I did that. Super fun because Levitate for Weezing helps with the Tyrantrum, as well as the Misty Terrain, weakening Dragon type moves, helps that. Misty Terrain also works with the Hitmonlee and the Acelgor with the Unburden. It's a fun thing to do. I think this team has more than one layer to it, which is I think why I put it more around the middle of the pack, because it doesn't have just one thing that it can do. A lot of these Pokemon have multiple things. Empoleon could be defensive, but can also be offensive with like a Swordsdance, Defiant, or Agility set. There's a few things that these Pokemon can do that I think make it better in my eyes.
Yeah, I guess. Also, special offense isn't really the best either. So, like kind of leaning on that tantrum.
Yeah, this team is pretty defensive, all in all. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were to help this team out, it would probably be, you don't need that many hazard removers. Maybe you can get rid of Galarian Mr. Mime and maybe put in a better special attacker. Mr.
You lose the speed here, though.
Yeah.
Because then you go from 145 to 87.
Yeah, well. That's another issue, because Zilgar's so fast, it makes speed tiers look so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this team's kind of all over the place, but that's what kind of showed off to me that it's like, alright, you know what? Tempest is trying to have some fun. This looks cool. But anyways, this was ranked 10th. Let's go on to the 9th, which is the Kyrax Crooks. So, alright. Let me look at my notes, because I had a few things to say here.
Well, we start by saying how he drafted two 10-pointers to start. And then dropped them.
That's probably...
So I feel like... Go ahead.
That's definitely what dropped his rank. Like, I understand, because, like, he did say, you know, I'm just trying to have fun, but the problem is, a lot of people don't have fun unless they're winning. So if you're picking 10-pointers, you're probably not going to be winning.
Yeah, kind of just doomed the team from the start. I still feel like he did get a pretty good team out, considering that.
Oh, yeah. I think this team's pretty solid. There's nothing too glaring about this team. Let's see. What did I do? I gotta look.
Well, Exhaustion might be the only decent remover, because you don't want to run D5 and Flygon on, especially since it's kind of your one of his main defensive threats on the physical side.
Virizion can be Lycanroc. Midnight hits pretty hard. Caparajah hits pretty hard.
Yeah, beginning speed.
Well, you said hits offensively. You didn't say speed.
Whatever.
I mean, Zoroark has Swords Dance, can also be physical.
Yeah, it's better than special side though.
True. I don't know. Let's see.
I do like the webs on this team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, so I put in my notes to, like, if anyone drops a super high tier, definitely grab it, like a 19 or an 18, because that's what this team's lacking. It's lacking what the 18 and 19 pointers are, which are, these Pokemon are the best, and some of these should be banned. So, for instance, I believe someone, what was it? It may have been Jake Mix that dropped Entei. And I don't know if Kyrak was online. I was about to ping him, but I was also thinking about Entei. I'm like, no, I have Moltres. But I was looking at it, I'm like, should I tell Kyrak? Because Entei is better than Typhlosion. He can move around his team, but it got picked up pretty much right away. But yeah, if anyone drops a 19 or 18 pointer, I think you can then kind of mold around that Pokemon a little bit better. Because right now, there's not one Mon that this team is trying to work around. Everything just kind of is a jumble of decent Pokemon.
Yeah. The one good thing though is that because he doesn't have those high tiers, he has a lot more variability between his Mons. Like any match, like you're take any one of these Mons, while some teams have like a one pointer which will just never come.
Hey, shots fired. That's true. I still feel like, some people picked multiple 19 pointers and some 18s, but like having at least one, I feel like it increases your odds because you can work around that Pokemon more. But I can understand how flexible this is. All right, let's go on to the 8th rank, which is Botsy's team. So, we all kind of, well, maybe not all of us, but actually, yeah, we're all over the place here for this rank. Lapras ranked Botsy 12th, so let me look real quick at why. And the reason is, team lacks physical attackers. I don't see any need for Galvantula as almost the entire team is slow. Webs don't help. Uses +3 priority, making speed drops useless, aka comfy. And Noivern, which outspeeds pretty much everything anyways. Electric type doesn't have its points boosted up due to the fact that it can set up webs. On a positive note, Noivern, Steelix, Comfy is a pretty good core with Alomomola wish passing to Chandelure and Steelix. So I feel like there was a decent amount of positives at the end. I don't feel like 12th is, I don't know. I didn't make the rank for Lapras, but
I'm gonna disagree with sticky webs not being useful because I feel like Chandelure and Lady webs could be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that, as well as even Skuntank. Skuntank has Nasty Plot. If it doesn't need to worry about speed, it can go in. It does have some pretty good moves like Flamethrower and stuff like that. So, yeah, I also disagree with that. Webs can very much help this team, especially if Pokemon try to outspeed something like Noivern, that Scarf that is hitting the ground. They will then not be able to outspeed it because of the webs. So maybe Webs doesn't look that good on paper for Lapras, but I feel like that's off. Also, the regen core is super nice. Tangela and Alomomola.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I put them 7th, but they might be a little higher now that I'm looking at it. But yeah. Oh well, that's the other thing, right? So hazard setters, we got Steelix, and then Galvantula for webs. That's it. Not the worst thing, but I don't know. I feel like you kind of want maybe another rocker in case you want Steelix to do something else besides set up rocks. But other than that, I mean, there's not much that's looking too bad here. What are you thinking?
The only thing is, again, a lot of defensive mons, you have to be careful about sub, but that's actually covered because of Noivern, the Infiltrator. However, a lot of people tend to run Frisk Noivern, so depending on how they run Noivern, it could be good or bad.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Also, yeah, a big thing could also be the pivot. I mean, there's still 4 Pokemon with pivot, which is really good. I mean, well, it's not bad, but the regen core kind of slows down your team because they don't have pivot. If it was like a slow King Tangela, it would be a little bit better because you'll be able to pivot a little bit more, but it kind of makes it a little harder. Nonetheless, it's still a very good team. There's not anything that I could pinpoint that I would say definitely change, because all these Pokemon are good in their own right, and they all synergize pretty well. So
Yeah.
Alright, let's go on to the 7th, which is Jake Mix's team, Seattle's Feels. So most of us put Jake Mix around the middle here. Epic's put him around 11th, which I'm going to look in a second. But, again, another team that is lacking hazard setters. We got Miltank with rocks, which is a good hazard setter. But sometimes you don't want to run hazards on Miltank, and then you just don't have hazards, so it gives the opponent free reign to just switch whenever they want to. And if we look at Bossy's team that we just looked at, that's a region core that doesn't mind switching out constantly because of that regen core. So it's tough. There are a lot of wish passers here. There's Aphromatisse, Umbreon, and actually Delphox, and a lot of heal bellers. So just don't bring Toxic to this game, basically, and you'll be set.
Yeah, I pulled up Epic's his doc, and he said that it's completely lacking any form of significant power. Side dog feels like it's going to carry every game in direct kills. It's solid defensively. Okay, so the main reason why it lagged low is because that one sub could lose you the game.
I kind of disagree with that here. Cause like, what do you sub on? All these things have decent hard hitting moves besides maybe Umbreon. Yeah, I mean that's why it has Baton Pass, right? It has a way to pivot out, and then I don't know. I think defensively great, offensively, physically, it's lacking. You do have that Zygarde 10, but then we look at special. We got Miss Magius, Delphox. Well, is that it? Shit, I thought there was more. Okay, well, yeah, I guess offensively it is lacking. It is. I will admit. So, yeah, honestly.
Yeah, just lacking like any strong breaker.
Mm-hmm. If I were to fix up this team, it would probably be maybe drop one of your wish passers and either get another hazard setter or get something more offensive, either especially or physically, probably physically, so you can kind of help out that Zygarde 10, because you have so many wish passers and heal bellers that, like, sure, they can't status your team, but it's not gonna matter if you can't break their team. So, ooh. But yeah, I think this team's not bad. It was ranked 7th, so we all kind of agreed it's around the middle. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to the next team, which is, in my opinion, the best team here. We got the Exo Stomp Excadrills. Let's go. Okay. So, looking at my team here,
your top three are amazing.
Oh yes, Tauros, Rapidash, and Moltres. Hell yeah.
No, in the order you drafted.
Oh, okay, alright.
Swampert.
Wow, I thought. Wow, okay, fine. See, after that, I was looking at my team and I'm like, now I'm gonna pick mons that I want to use, and that's when it all went downhill.
Yeah. You also have like one good remover and then Fortress, which is just a bad mon.
Why do you hate Fortress so much?
It's bad.
Well, I've never used it, so I'll take your word for it, but I'm still gonna try it out.
Well, try to prove me wrong.
Alright, I will. I'll bring Choice Banded Fortress every week.
Oh boy.
Explosion. But yeah, so I just looked at Halu's what Halu said, and I completely agree with one point. And the point was, I don't really have a good Scald switching, because Swacky doesn't want to get burnt, and Cedra's probably not coming to many games. So what wants to get burnt? Maybe Machamp, but like, what if I'm not running Guts? You know, so it's kind of tough.
Run Guts every week.
I will now. Guts Choice Banded. Let's go. God, that sounds horrible. Yeah, so I can understand what's wrong with it. Tauros and Machamp do the same thing on this team, which is wall break. I already know what I can switch out for Tauros. I probably should have told you beforehand and ask you what if that would help it. But yeah, Tauros is good. It helps me with speed tiers because I kind of needed a little boost to my speed tier here. But it does, like I said, it does do the same thing that Machamp does. But Machamp just does it better. It hits harder, and because I have so much pivot on this team, I can easily pivot into Machamp practically every time, and if there's something in, I can break it. I was getting hate for the Tauros, the Glaceon, and the Spiritomb. How do you feel about those three Pokemon? And the Seadra, but we're not going to talk about that.
Well, I really like Glaceon. I feel it's underrated. And it gets Freeze Dry, which is really good to help the water ice. Tauros I never used, so I can't really comment on that. Spiritomb is okay. I mean, no pursuit obviously is helping it in this league, but I mean, sounds right.
Okay.
One thing is though, you're gonna have to rely on that Thwackey a little too much, I think. Because again, with the water type attacks, you can only take so much, and then if you lose like Moltres and it's taking all your ground, eventually it's not gonna go well. Because then if Thwackey dies and you got Moltres, then Wild Ground types get Stone Edge, and then one prediction, and then you lose both of them.
Yeah. I know the issues, and I can fix them, but I'm like, I don't know if I should or if I should leave it, because it's to me it's, do I want to make this team a little bit better, or do I want to have a little bit more fun? Because the Mons I'm thinking about, I mean, they would help, but I don't know if they'd be as fun. But
I have a Mon that I think you could change Tauros for. Maybe Drampa.
Yeah, that's the one I was actually hinting at. Because it gives me that Dragon type that I need. It keeps the normal type. It gives me another Defogger if I needed it. And another hard-hitting special type. It has what?
Yeah.
That thing with Tailwind is gonna not even outspeed Machamp.
Yeah, but it could help with it could help the rest of the team though.
True, like the Seadra. I got you.
That's your Machamp. They'll all appreciate that one.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it is tough. That could help my team.
Gets Defog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on my list. It also gets Sap Sipper for like the Swampert and stuff. So it's on my list.
And
yeah. Actually, that's another thing too. I was also looking at what is it called? Baby Grandpa. What the hell's it called? Dunsparce. I was thinking about, I think it was upgrading the Tauros to an 11-pointer. I can't remember what it was. Or no, sorry. Going down to 9-pointer and then boosting Seadra to the 2-point Dunsparce. Can't remember what it was at this time. Oh, yes, I do remember. I don't know, I won't say it here because I might do it. But, yeah, I don't know. Before we go on real quick, though, I do want to say, guys, don't underestimate Glaceon. It has the same exact special attack as Kyurem. The freeze dry hits exactly the same. So if you don't have a good steel type, say goodbye to one of your Pokemon if it's a Specs Glaceon.
Also could have been Tom Pass out.
Yeah, honestly, for 5 points, it's a very good mon. And I like to say this. If you do have an ice type in low tier, try to get a freeze dry mon, because there's so many. Well, I think all of them are in low tier. All the water grounds are in low tier. You got it's like our 10 in low tier. You got a lot of these Pokemon that are weak to freeze dry in low tier. Pelipper, Cramorant, just Mantine. There's just so many. If you get a Freeze Dry Mon, it'll just scare half of the Pokemon in low tier.
Yeah, and it was also good you picked up the Glaceon because you have a Swampert, so that's one less Freeze Dry Mon you have to worry about facing.
True, I could just hit Ice Beam.
And with Fortress, low special defense, it can only take like maybe 3 hits from a Specs before it just dies.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on. We've talked about my team more than we should have. Alright, we got Arcadian's team, the Kyoto Greninjas at rank number 5, 5th. Alright. 7 Pokemon.
We agree that it's higher. We have a bunch of different rankings for this one.
Yeah, it goes from 10th to 1st. I don't. Okay, look, it's a good team for the top 7. And then you got Bronzor, which is Setup Flutter, and Munchlax.
7-mon team. They're never coming.
Yeah. Well, Munchlax could come. I can see Munchlax coming.
No.
What do you mean?
No.
Alright, fair. But good argument, because that is true. No. Yeah, it is a 7-mon team. I can see probably. Well, this is like. Is this would you call this hyper offense? No, right?
No, nowhere close.
Okay, because I'm just looking at. There's not a lot of defensive mons here. I mean, Donphin and Muk, sure, but
it looks offensive, but it's not.
It's kind of hard to talk about because it's like a mixture. I really like the fairy and steel type. I was looking for the dragon type. I couldn't find it. I like the fire water grass core is really good offensively and defensively, I guess. It's just such like this reminds me of I kind of like a Lucas draft where it looks offensive but also looks very defensive. It has like a weird mixture, right? Because a lot of these Pokemon can be defensive but have a lot of offensive potential.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like the Gardevoir is going to be used as like a answer because this team doesn't really have good recovery. Or like any recovery for that much, except for Rusan, Talonflame, and Decidueye. So then, if Gardevoir went to Wish, it's not going to be offensive, which means it makes Decidueye your main special attacker, and it's not that good.
Yeah, that is true.
And Cloyster is going to be a setup sweeper almost every game. So then that leaves like Cobalion, your main physical threat, and has like base like 95 or 90 attack.
Yeah, this team puts a lot of pressure on Cobalion, which is not good. Even though it is your 19-pointer, you don't want to have that much pressure on it because if it dies, you kind of lose all your offensive momentum or not momentum, but offensive pressure on your team. Because, I mean, this Cloyster, like you said, but it's just going to be running Shell Smash every game. It can run defensive. I have done that before against for Alligator, not in this league, but I've done it and with Rocky Helmet, and it's very funny because it does like 10% at +1 to a defensive Cloyster, but
yeah, I agree. It's just they would benefit more if it was Shell Smash.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, I would personally say do something with that. No, that's it. Just leave it there. Do something. No, your bottom two. I mean, I know you're basically just filling in here because you have 7 mons and you need to get 9, so might as well just pick up 2 random things basically. But I feel like there are better options here. For Munchlax, I don't necessarily think you need a normal type because you have Alolan Muck, which can take those ghost hits very easily. I guess you might need it for like Golurk or something, but that's fine, whatever. Besides that, Bronzor doesn't do anything. So maybe just finding... I mean, there's even a better one-pointer. There's plenty of one-pointers that do more than Bronzor. Bronzor isn't coming to any game, and sure, it has a lot of... what's it called? Like, immunities and resistance stuff, but it's not doing anything. But let's move on here. I'm done ranting at this team. Let's go on to the Kinky Kartanas. This team I ranked first. I really want to talk about this team. So initially, this team was probably gonna be maybe around the middle of the pack for me, and then that Entei dropped and Noir picked it up, and I'm like, wait, 2 19-pointers, a Registeel, a Glag. Okay, wait, an Ooks. All right, no, this is unacceptable. This is this 9 Mon team. You have to prep for every single Mon here. I mean, it's not like Arcadian's team where there's only 7 Pokemon. There are 9 scary Pokemon here.
Maybe not the Lion.
Wow. Let's see. Hazard setters are fine. You don't need spikes, toxic spikes, or webs. I mean, I guess it would help, but for this team, it's not. It's fine. Clerics, I would say Wishpasser would help this team severely because Rotom in general likes it. Gligar likes it. Even Registeel. There's a lot of Pokemon that like Wish, so that's definitely a downside here. But honestly, other than that, this team gives me a headache just looking at it. I don't want to build for this team. I don't even check if I'm versing this team. I hope I'm not, because... really? Entei, Registeel, Blast, no, I can't. I can't even look at it.
Yeah, for this team I initially also had made, but then the more I look at it, the more I like it. Like, one of my problems with it was that I didn't feel like it was offensive enough. But then Blastoise, Shell Snatch is allowed now. Appleton does have enough special attack to run like Specs or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this team does have the ability to be offensive and defensive depending on the matchup.
Yeah, and that's definitely a scary point. Another point would definitely be that there's no fairy type, which can be big. It can be, emphasis on can be. I mean, I guess if you're versing a Regidrago, but then you have Registeel, so that can help it. Again, I mean, I don't know. I ranked it first, so I think this is easily the best team out of all of the teams. So yeah, I mean, I'm good with moving on if you are.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got the Chai Chinchinos. So this team, well, I feel like you have definitely more information on this team since you drafted half these mons together before.
Yeah, it's basically my team plus a Wishpasser. I feel like Webs would be a lot better to have on this team because that really helps out the Tangoro and the Duraludon. And even the Rampardos, depending on speed tiers that they're going up against. There's plenty of removal and a lot of other stuff that's also good, which I didn't really have. So I feel like this is just my team a lot better.
Yeah, it's kind of, I feel like it's a mixture of your team from season 6 and Kyrak's team from season 7. I'm not specifically just saying because of the Feraligatr, but the problem with this team is that it goes from 117 for the speed tier to 86. That is a
Yeah.
ginormous speed gap. That's like, was that 31? Am I doing math correctly? Yeah, that's 31. Yeah, okay. 31 points for speed, which that's just insane. If you have, for instance, that Selgor that we looked at before, that thing doesn't need to run speed. I mean, maybe a little bit for Salazzle, but besides that, actually, well, yeah, if you don't need a prep for Salazzle with a Selgor, just don't run any speed, and you're gonna outspeed anything anyways. But yeah, that's probably a big issue for this. This team can run Trick Room. It does have Claydol. That's not.
I did not. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what this team's going for. It does have webs, so it can help.
Wait, it does have webs.
Yeah. I found myself personally not really bringing Masquerain to many games, even though it looks good and it has some options. It's still not gonna be used that much here. But yeah, I mean, besides it being pretty slow, it has basically everything else that it needs. Yeah, what do you think here?
Just a better Weber. Because that really helped the Angoro and the Duraludon and Rampardos.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's another thing. Rampardos, maybe I dislike Rampardos and I dislike Banette. So maybe that's why. I look at those two Pokemon and I'm like, just condense them and make them into a different Pokemon. Whatever it is.
No, Head Smash was story changing.
Yeah, that's true, but that's Rampardos. It misses half the time. Alright, so the next two teams were tied for first and second, so we're just going to go over one and then the other, but they technically both got first in this sense. So, the first/second is the... Is that... I'm gonna have a stroke just trying to say this. The Munich? Okay, the Munchlax. Munich?
It's German, yeah.
Munich.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm pronouncing it wrong. And otherwise, I'll probably get in trouble for that.
Well, alright, the Munchlax team. Alright, so we, honestly, this team is very high up because it definitely resembles Hopeless's team from last season. It does have a lot of what Hopeless had. I believe he had the Electivire, Crobat, Alolan Persian, maybe the Roserade. I can't remember off the top of my head, but no, I don't think he had Roserade. But what I really like about this team is that it has a lot of Pokemon that pivot around that helps out the Heracross, because Heracross loves when it's able to get pivoted. Whenever other Pokemon pivot into it, it loves that because if it is, well, it's going to be the wall breaker here. I don't see much else that can wall break, which might be a problem. This team is kind of reliant on using Heracross as a wall breaker. If for whatever reason that it dies, there's a few options, but yeah, I kind of want to hear from you here. Let's see.
Yeah, the only problem I have with these teams that Crobat really been the only good Hazard movers. I don't really think Wartortle's going to come over Seismitoad. Like ever.
That's definitely a fair point. I like Wartortle, but when you have a Seismitoad, there's no reason to be bringing a Wartortle besides, hey, I want Crobat to be offensive this game. I need a hazard remover, and you don't really want to do that. What is Wartortle? Is Wartortle 3 points? I think so. Let me see. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, if you want a hazard remover in 3 points, there's a bunch. I mean, there's Carkol. We talked about Carnivine before. There's a Malga. There's plenty. Yeah, there's a ton here. So, realistically, you can drop War Turtle for another mon, maybe to either cover typing that you're missing, or to get another Hazard Remover. Probably Hazard Remover is the best bet. But honestly, overall, I just like this team's colors. I mean, they got a bunch of colors all over the place. You got purple, you got blue, you got green, yellow, red. I mean, orange. There's so many colors. I had to rank it high. That's basically the only reason why I ranked it high.
I knew that was coming.
That's what happens, man. If I look at a team and it's colorful, I can't help but put it at a high rank. I feel like it's always what happens. It's my fault. I'm sorry. All right, let's move on here to the first place, which is Lucas's team. All right, so you put Lucas in first place, so I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, I just love the Porygon Waste combo. It's too good. And then you have Porygon Wish Pass. And then just pouring the hazards are removable. So I more Pico.
More Pico! Yeah. Personally, oh man, I'm jealous of this team. Not only because Lucas got Klefki again, and I wanted it this time, but because this team hits hard, but also is pretty defensive as well. Like you just said, Vaporeon can Wish Pass into a few things here. God, the biggest thing for me is that it heavily reminds me of Burger's team from Season 6. He had the PZ, I think he had PZ and Blaziken, if I remember correctly. And that thing, that was the hardest thing to prep for. Both of them are so hard to prep for because they just hit so hard offensively. There's not many Pokemon that switch into them. Let's say it's Ghost type, sure, but if it's Specs PZ and it goes for Shadow Ball or Dark Pulse, goodbye.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, this team is probably the most balanced team overall, which is saying a lot because I feel like Lucas's teams always end up looking more offensive at first, and then you dive more into it and it's like, okay, this is actually more defensive than offensive. This team is a great balance between both, and that's very new for Lucas's teams. So I'm interested to see how Lucas actually plays this team. And I do like the 1-point Wobbuffet, even though it can't trap. You still gotta kind of prep for it. I guess it's substitute flutter, so it probably isn't coming to any game anyways, but it's there. So yeah. And this team is also pretty colorful, so it's gotta put it at least third. But yeah, overall, that's where it landed. So that's it for the post PR rankings for Aggron. The Lairon and Aggron divisions will be coming soon. Probably within the next 24 hours of this going up. No promises, but we're gonna try to get them up as fast as possible. We're still waiting on a few people to get the Lairon and the Aggron division done. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye guys.